What's up, fellas, and good morning. Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. I'm not feeling too inspired today, but you're not always going to feel inspired. Remember that. Sometimes you just got to get up off your ass and take the first or the next step, maybe the second step. Just get up and start moving. And sometimes if you start moving, guess what? You'll start feeling like doing something. And then you'll start feeling inspired. And you'll be glad you got up off your ass. There you go. Hey, before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe. Check out my books on Amazon. The Power is Within and Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check me out at Instagram, Mark's Inspiration. Or if you'd like to get my help personally, I offer guidance, counseling. I don't like to use the word coaching, but if you like coaching, at marksinspiration.com. Sign up for my monthly newsletter, which I haven't started writing yet, but I will. Okay, the topic for today is going to be, hey, guess what? Feeling inspired, feeling like doing something. Do you think I always feel like making a video? No, of course I don't. But I always find that after I do it, I feel better because I've shared part of myself. And I'm pretty well rigorously honest, so I'm going to tell you what's going on in my life. And like I did this morning, not feeling too inspired. But you can't go by your feelings. You can't trust your feelings. Do you think that everybody that's successful felt like getting up every morning and doing what they had to do to be successful? Sometimes they laid in bed at night wondering how they were going to make it the next day, how they were going to pay the rent, how they were going to pay the electric bill, how they were going to keep their marriage together, how they were going to keep their kids out of jail, their daughters from getting pregnant. Yes, they all have fears and worries. The trick is not to take action on your fears or your worries. Fear and worry is like faith or belief in reverse, because whatever you focus on, you're going to draw that into your life. And then when you give voice to it and you start speaking about it to other people, you give it even more power to come to pass. The very thing you don't want to come to pass, you bring to pass. And a lot of times when we don't feel like doing something, we're kind of tired or we're unmotivated. And that's when we want to complain. Maybe we want to complain about how we feel. And if you complain about how you feel and you're not feeling well, then you bring more of that into your life. Sometimes you just have to act as if, and the action brings about the feeling. I can never get this right, but they say you can't think yourself into good acting, or you can't feel yourself or think yourself into good acting, but you can act yourself into good feeling or good thinking. If you get up and take the action, and that's hard to do sometimes when you're depressed, because that all kind of goes hand in hand. It's kind of congruent. Depression with thinking or feeling badly about your life or about yourself. Some of you may want to check out sometimes. You get that feeling. I think that's a normal part of life. I think everyone has had that thought or that feeling. You just need to be careful if you're consistently thinking about something like that or even planning something like that. Very wise to go speak to someone about that, talk to someone about that. And you may find out that you're not the only one that's ever felt that way. I believe that's a normal part of life, unless, as I said, you're planning it or constantly thinking about it. Everyone goes through those times when they want to escape from the pressures of life. And many people do, by drinking, taking drugs, becoming a workaholic. There's many forms, or sportaholic. There's many forms of escape in life, or chasing women, to where it's actually costing you money or running you into debt, gambling. There's just a million ways you can escape. From yourself, actually, is what you're trying to do. You're trying to escape from yourself. You should be able to be alone and at perfect peace and ease by yourself. When you're alone, you should be in good company, the best company. You're always going to be with yourself. So you just as well get to know yourself. Learn to love yourself, learn to like yourself. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has made mistakes. Everybody's done things they're somewhat ashamed of. And if they say they haven't, they just don't want you to know about it. Because none of us are perfect. None of us come here able to live our whole life without making mistakes. But we don't have to beat ourselves up for our mistakes. Think about this. If your best friend came up to you and told you something that he did that he felt was terrible, would you beat him up for it? Would you talk badly about him? Or would you try to encourage him and help him to realize that we all make mistakes and that the mistake is not who he is, that he doesn't have to do it again? Of course you would try to encourage him if he was your best friend. Then why not be your own best friend and try to encourage yourself when you make a mistake? Because I guarantee you, if you're doing something, if you're taking action, if you're moving towards your goals or your dreams, you're going to make mistakes. Sometimes what seems like very ignorant mistakes. And you'll look back and you'll think, I should have known better. But the reality is this: if you had known better, you would have done better. That mistake you made 5, 10 years ago, 6 months ago, would you do that same thing again? No, you wouldn't, because you learned from that. So don't beat yourself up over something that you didn't know any better. I know it's easy to look back with the knowledge and the wisdom we have today on mistakes we made in the past and think we did know better. But if you knew better then, you wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't do it today. So what's the difference between today and then? Today, you do know better. Then you didn't know better. You may have factually or intellectually knew better, but you didn't know better in the way of wisdom. When you combine experience with knowledge or intellectual knowledge, that's the same thing, I suppose, then you have what we call wisdom. Then you do know better. Then you do know something. It's like the red pill It's like the red pill content. You can read that, watch it for years, know it all, but until you experience situations about are congruent with what you have learned intellectually, you really don't know it. It's when you combine those two things together when you really know something, when you have wisdom about something. And also, then you can share it with other people and teach other people, and that also increases your wisdom and your knowledge. Then you really know something. The Spanish have the word conocer. Okay, when I say, do you know St. Louis? In English, we say, yes, I know St. Louis. But when they say that, they mean they have been there. They don't say they know something unless they don't know the city unless they have been there. That's what their word means. And we need to say that, or we need a word similar to that, or we need to think about things that way, because you can say you know red pill content, but you don't know it in the way that, how would I say, in a way that you've lived it, that you've experienced it. So you really don't know it. Just like they don't say they know a city unless they've actually been there and experienced that city. So book knowledge is great. I read every day. I've read hundreds of books. I continue to read. But when you read and you combine that experience, that is, if you're out experiencing life, you need to get out of the house, go out there and experience people, life, all different kinds of life situations. And usually you read from other people's experiences, and then you experience it, which will be slightly different, or maybe vastly different from the way they experienced it. Then you will have your own life experience, which adds up to wisdom for you. And what did they say in some of the old texts? wisdom is more valuable than gold. If someone offers you wisdom or gold, you should take the wisdom, although it would be very tempting to take the gold. Okay, I'll leave you with that. I gotta go. Gotta get to work. The employees are coming soon, and I'm out of here. Have a great day. See you next time.